Hi, this is Steve here in my workshop in Bellevue. Today we're doing assignment number 6 in the Jigs and Fixtures, lesson 10 for the Shopsmith Mark 47520 self-study course. And today we're going to do this custom T-Trac clamp and stop. And this came about from doing lesson 2-10, which was on doing cove moldings, where we need to have a wooden fence at an angle to push stock across at an angle to create a cove in it. And if you remember on that particular assignment, we had to clamp this to the fence using C-clamps and have those going underneath. And it was, in doing that, I thought there's got to be a better way of attaching them. And that's how this clamp came about. And you'll notice here I have this one mounted with 2 of the clamps. They just hook right into the T-Trac using these T-bolts are on the back side, and it can be adjusted any way we want to adjust it. You notice here I can position it in and out as I want, and I can adjust the height up and down as I want to. And it's got these steps on here is to accommodate different thicknesses of stock. So I can do stock all the way up to about 1 inch. So if this were thicker stock, see, I could go to the next step and I can get another 1/4 inch out of that if I want to. Or if I got some thinner stock, like this 1/2 inch MDF here, I can do it down to the bottom step. So I can do all the way from about 1/8 inch stock all the way up to 1 inch on thickness of stock on this. Now, after developing and using it, I found that there were some other uses that it can be used for. And the next one I noticed was, if I'm doing drill press mode, and I have the fence here, and I've got a piece of stock that is against the fence, and I want to hold that firmly in position while I'm drilling it, I can use the clamps that way as well. Then I could put another one there to hold that end as well. Then the third use I found for it is using as a stop on the fence. And so Shopsmith makes a stop for that, which you can buy, which works very nicely, and I have them and I use them. In fact, let's see, I'll get one. There's one on that right behind me there. Just take that off and slide it off. This is the Shopsmith one, and most of the time I'll just use this on here, use it one at either end for a stop when I'm needing stops for doing slots or other items. But this one can serve the same function as well, because this will slide right in here, and then we can position this. We could put one stop down here, and then you could put another one down to the other end and use it as a stop as well. So that's all the uses for it that I've discovered. Now, if you find some others, that's wonderful. So now let's talk about how we're going to make this. You'll notice that it has on the end these steps. That's to accommodate different thicknesses of stock. And it has in here a groove that's done with a 1 inch wide straight router bit. And then it's got a slot all the way through that's done with a 5/16 straight router bit. So let's look up here on the board. So as a side view, this is the side view of it. Yeah, so that's the side view. And these are 1/4 inch, both that way and that way. And same thing on this that's going to be a 1/4 inch. So that's your steps on there. The length on these are 6.5 inches long. And of course your thickness of your stock is 3/4 inch stock. I recommend you use oak. Oak is strong, and it machines nicely, and you'll get good performance out of oak. You can use another hardwood if you want to. Cherry and it works fine. Also, hard maple works well. MDF, you can't use MDF because it doesn't have the strength. All right, so that's the side view. Now the top view, again, this is 6.5. And the width here is about 2 to 2 1/8, somewhere in that range, okay? And then you got your slot here. That's the 1-inch wide slot, and then you got your 5/16 slot there in the middle. So that's how we're going to make it. So the order of operations we're going to do on this. This is your piece of stock that is about 15 inches long. You take a piece, and what you're going to do is make both of them out of the same piece of stock. And then we'll cut it off the length at the end. We'll also do the steps here. We'll do those at the end also. So what we're going to do is we will do the groove and the slot on both of them up in vertical drill press mode. Then we'll take it off. We will do the steps on each end of this piece of stock. And then after we do that, then we will cut them off to length here in the middle. So that's the order of operations. So the next thing we're going to go to is the vertical, where we're going to do the routing operations next. So that's where we'll go to next. Okay, so now we're going to do the vertical operation for the routing on these. And I've already routed most of the 1-inch wide slot. I've just got one more 1/8 inch deeper to go on this last one here, which I'm going to do in front of you. As you can see on the setup, we've got the legs here for support underneath. We've got feather boards here. We've got a feather board here. Make sure you have your safety shield on here. These are my stops. This is the stop for this end. Then I will push it until it hits that stop. And that gets me my length for both this one and for the 5/16 through slot that we'll be doing as well. So these stop positions stay in the same place for both of them. So we're all ready. 9,000 RPM should be the right RPM that it comes up with for the 1-inch size straight router bit. And I'm going to go ahead and put my safety glasses on, my ear protection. I've got a hose here to collect some dust, and we'll go ahead and cut that now. Yeah. So here we have the 1-inch side grooves done. And now I'm going to switch over to the 5/16 to do that through slot. So I'll be back after I set up for that. Okay. Okay, so I've routed the slot over here for the 5/16 all the way through. I've done a part through on this one. I'm having you just watch me as I finish doing the rest of the way through that slot for the 5/16 there.
So you can see it.
All right, so do that an 1/8 inch deeper. Set that for an 1/8 inch deeper. So there we are. So there's our slots all the way through and our groove all the way through. So all right, so next thing is we're going to go over to the table saw. We're going to do these steps on each end and then cut them off to length. See you over at this table saw. Okay, so now we're on doing the steps here at the end. I'm using the dado blade today. You can use the circular saw if you don't have the dado blade. And I've already done one of the steps here on each end, which is I did a 1/4 inch deep and a 1/2 inch in. So next I moved the fence over a 1/4 inch, and I'm going to drop this now another 1/4 inch, and then that will complete doing our steps on the end. So this just fell down a little bit. I'll put that back up. Okay. I'm going to make sure that's not hitting that. It's not. Okay. And that's going to be a good. And you notice here I have a sacrificial fence extension here to provide support on the back side so I don't get any tear out on the back side when I cut that. All right. So now I'm just going to drop this a 1/4 inch. And I have a spacer right here that I'm going to use with the stop collar down here. And all I have to do is put All right, then we'll drop that 1/4 inch table onto that collar. Okay, that did that. Whoop, that's hitting the fence now. So I'm going to raise that fence up. Oh, that's a little bit too high, I can see. Good. So here, yeah, that's a little bit too high. So we're going to have to drop that. That's still... Okay, so we're good there. All right, we'll tighten those up. Do my 7-step safety check. Got my motor, quill lock, trunnion lock, carriage lock, height lock. Nothing on the spindles. It's firmly down. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that, then I'll flip it and cut on the other end. And we're going to... So in your setting on your screen, you'll do table saw 6-inch dado, hardwood, general sawing, and that'll give me 4,000 RPM. So I'll put on my safety glasses and my ear protection, and we'll turn on the dust collection and make those 2 cuts. So there now you can see we got the steps cut on each end. Now we'll just switch over to the saw blade, cut these off to length. I'm going to turn my power off while I do this. And this is the CMT dado set that Shopsmith sells and recommends, and I really like it. So I'm going to put a crosscut blade on here. And switch inserts. And I'm going to put on my ZCI insert. You can use the regular if you want to, but this will just make sure I don't have any tear out on the bottom side when I do the cross cut. Okay, do that. Take the fence off, we won't need that. And I'm going to go ahead and leave this sacrificial fence on here. That'll give me some support on the back side. Take my stop collar, put that back up. Okay, let's lower this down. There we go. That should be right there. Okay. There we go. All right, there's that. Put our upper saw guard in. Okay, that's good. That's good. Now we want to cut these so they're 6.5 inches long. And if I use one of the old ones, I can use one of the old ones as for my length. You won't have that, so you'll just measure it. So right here is where it's going to want to cut off, right there. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to clamp this stop block here, just like that. And that will get me what I want. Bring it away from there a little bit. Okay. So I'll cut this one and I'll flip it around and cut the other one. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. There we are. All right, put on my dust collection. So all we got left now is to put the T-bolt on there with the knob. Now you can buy these in sets. Shops would sell these in a set. You won't need this spacer that comes with it. That'll go in there. Put this washer right on there. And put this on here. And you're all done. That's it. It's all together and it should fit right in your track there. Okay. So if you want to, you can take some sandpaper and just take off the rough edges so you don't get any splinters, and you should be all done. So that's the end of this one. We'll see you on the next one.